Do you feel emotionally drained? Like you're walking on eggshells? Does your partner put you down or blame you? You might be in a controlling relationship. These behaviors start subtly. We've talked to experts to help you recognize and act. In this video, we'll cover 17 signs of manipulation. Ready to take back your power? Keep watching. Manipulation is all about getting someone to do what you want without them realizing they're being played.
They might make a small request, then push further, until you don't recognize yourself anymore. They might play the victim, guilt-tripping you, or use emotional blackmail, threatening to withdraw love. They might isolate you from friends and family. Feeling pressured or controlled is a huge red flag. You deserve someone who respects your boundaries.
This is a classic tactic of manipulators called love bombing. In the beginning, they shower you with attention, affection, and gifts. They're everything you've ever wanted.
People who are controlling or manipulative often start out a relationship seeming like the perfect partner. This is love bombing, a form of emotional abuse that's meant to cause you to let your guard down so they can influence you or exert control over you. While love bombing typically happens at the beginning of a relationship, it can also come and go in cycles. Your partner might turn to love bombing if they sense that you're really upset and potentially going to leave them, for example. Manipulative or controlling partners might also turn on the love bombing if you attempt to assert yourself or call them out on their controlling or manipulative tactics.
We all tell little white lies every now and then, but when your partner consistently lies or makes excuses for their behavior, that's a major red flag.
For someone who is manipulative, nothing is ever their fault. They're never willing to accept responsibility or admit that they did anything wrong, and they'll lie or distort facts when necessary to make themselves look like the victim. Typically, they're trying to make you feel sorry for them here so you'll forget about whatever was bothering you. If your partner is controlling, their desire for control could extend to facts themselves, meaning that they'll believe the version of events that puts them in the best light, even if that's not what actually happened.
Disagreeing with your partner is normal, but when your partner constantly yells at you or gets angry over small things, it creates a toxic environment.
When the going gets tough, lashing out is a good way for a manipulative or controlling partner to turn the tables. If they get angry, then everything becomes all about them. They believe that you'll do what you can to appease them, especially if it involves something you don't feel strongly about. For example, a controlling partner might get bent out of shape over the direction in which you vacuum the floor or the way you load the dishwasher. Because you don't want to cause a scene, you go along with what they want. This sets the stage for them to potentially control you in other ways in the future. This is especially likely if your partner knows that you try to avoid conflict.
Constructive criticism is one thing, but when your partner constantly puts you down, makes fun of you, or criticizes you in a way that makes you feel bad about yourself, that's emotional abuse.
With a controlling or manipulative partner, you might feel as though you can't do anything right. They might also put you down or insult you in front of other people to make you feel embarrassed or ashamed. For example, your partner might bring up an incident they know was super embarrassing to you while the two of you have friends over. This uses the vulnerability of that moment against you. Your partner might also put down or insult your long-held beliefs, even if they've known about them from the day you met. Questioning long-held beliefs can cause you to doubt yourself or your perception of the world. Sometimes this comes from a place of insecurity. Usually, your partner is trying to lift themselves up and make themselves seem better because they've put you down.
This is a classic manipulation tactic called gaslighting. You remember your partner promising to take out the trash, but when you bring it up, they deny it ever happened. They say, "You're imagining things." They might even try to convince you that you're going crazy. Over time, this can make you doubt your own memory and reality. You start questioning yourself, wondering if you're overreacting. And that's exactly what the manipulator wants. Remember, your feelings are valid.
Dr. Dicken continues that standing up to gaslighting requires a sense of confidence and a sense of self-assuredness. If you don't have the belief that your feelings are valid, then you're going to believe your partner.
A loving partner wants you to have a strong support system, but a manipulator wants to be your only source of love, attention, and validation.
Someone who is controlling likes to isolate you from friends and family, so their narrative of events will hold dominance over anyone else's. They don't want anyone calling them out or questioning their actions or their motives. Another reason controlling or manipulative partners may isolate you is because they have an insecure attachment to you and get jealous when you're with anyone else. For example, they might imagine that you're cheating on them with one of your friends or that one of your family members hates them and is trying to convince you to leave them.
In a healthy relationship, your partner loves you for who you are, flaws and all, but a manipulator uses love as a weapon.
True love is unconditional. You don't have to do anything in particular, look a certain way, or act a certain way in order to get it. If your partner makes comments about how they'd love you more if you did this or that, that could be a sign that they're trying to control or manipulate you. For example, your partner might say, "You know I love you, but I'd love you a lot more if you'd just lose a little weight and stop snacking on sweets all the time." A manipulative or controlling partner will often focus on something that you're sensitive about. For example, if you're sensitive about your weight, they might use this tactic to make you feel guilty about eating dessert or spending the evening on the couch watching TV. They might make affection conditional as well. For example, if your partner doesn't like when you wear makeup, they might say, "You know, I'd kiss you a lot more if you weren't wearing all that nasty makeup." Psychotherapist Kelly Miller notes that if you're constantly questioning your relationship or comparing yourself to other relationships, that's another sign that your relationship is likely unhealthy.
Intimacy should be a beautiful shared experience. But when your partner pressures you into doing things you're not comfortable with, that's not okay. They might guilt trip you, saying things like, "If you really loved me, you would," or "everyone else is doing it." They might ignore your boundaries, pushing you past your comfort zone. It's important to remember that you have the right to say no to any sexual activity, no matter what. You deserve to be with someone who values your consent and makes you feel safe and respected. This might seem like a small thing, but it's all part of a larger pattern of control.
A partner who's controlling might want to take over decisions that really should be your own. They might try to guilt you into believing that if you really loved them, you'd want to dress or act in a way that pleased them and not in a way that upset them or made them uncomfortable. For example, your partner might insult you for eating too much dessert, or call you names because you wear revealing clothing to go out with your friends. Licensed marriage and family therapist Leah Huynh notes that there are some times when it might be appropriate for your partner to tell you what to wear, such as if they're concerned that it is not appropriate for the occasion. But absent those legitimate times, it's not usually appropriate for your partner to try to tell you what to wear.
Everyone needs some space to cool down after an argument. But when your partner consistently uses the silent treatment as a way to punish or control you, that's a form of manipulation.
The silent treatment is about as emotionally manipulative as you can get. Your partner is essentially taking away any opportunity you might have to reason with them or come to a compromise on whatever the issue is. They typically want you to come to them first and make the sacrifice to appease them, rather than meeting you in the middle. Sometimes, people use the silent treatment because they want to make the situation all about them. They know that if they withdraw their attention, the other person will miss them and beg them to come back. When that happens, they'll feel like they have the upper hand. This is also tied into the idea of conditional love. A partner who uses the silent treatment is conditioning their attention and affection on getting their way.
A little jealousy is normal in a relationship, but when your partner is constantly accusing you of cheating, that's a sign of their own insecurity, not a reflection of your behavior. They might check your phone, read your emails, or follow you around. They might get angry if you talk to someone of the opposite sex, even if it's just a friend or colleague. This type of behavior is controlling and suffocating. It can make you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells. Remember, you have the right to have friends and relationships outside of your romantic relationship. This is one of the biggest signs that you're in a manipulative relationship.
If your partner has been trying to manipulate or control you for an extended period, they might have convinced you that they're your only option. They might even have led you to believe that no one else would want to be in a relationship with you because you're so difficult to get along with, or because you're such a failure. If you start thinking that you don't have any option but to be with your partner, stop and take a moment to remind yourself of all the awesome things you've accomplished on your own, either without your partner or before they entered your life. Your friends and family members can also help you counter this by telling you about all the things they love and appreciate about you, all the things that go into making you the wonderful person you are.
A manipulator might threaten to hurt you, your loved ones, or even themselves if you try to leave them. They might say things like, "If you leave me, I'll kill myself," or "If you break up with me, I'll make sure you never see your family again." These threats are designed to control you through fear. If your partner is making threats, please take them seriously. Reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or domestic violence hotline. Remember, you are not alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. Passive-aggressive behavior is a way of expressing negative feelings indirectly.
A person who behaves passive-aggressively doesn't express how they're really feeling. Your partner might use avoidance tactics, such as actively dodging you or dodging the discussion of certain topics. Sarcasm can be another sign of passive-aggressive communication. For example, a person who is behaving passive-aggressively might try to get attention by making overly dramatic gestures, like sighing or pouting. They might use immature emotional reactions to bait you into asking them what's wrong without just coming out and saying it.
This is another form of emotional manipulation. The manipulator uses love, affection, and intimacy as a reward or punishment.
Another sign of emotional manipulation is if your partner withdraws from you. Maybe they give you the silent treatment if you are doing something they don't want you to do. They might withhold information, affection, or even sex to punish you, even for something insignificant. They might refuse to stop withdrawing or withholding until you do what they want, or until you admit blame for something that isn't your fault.
A manipulator will try to isolate you from your friends, family, and any other support system you have. They want you all to themselves so they can exert complete control over you. They might make negative comments about your loved ones, try to turn you against them, or even forbid you from seeing them. They might move you to a new city or state, making it difficult for you to maintain contact with your loved ones. Over time, this isolation can make you feel trapped and alone, but that's just what they want you to think. 6 tips for talking with your partner in private about the way their behavior they makes. 1. Sit down with your partner in private. Choose a time to talk when both of you are in neutral or upbeat moods and have time to talk without distractions. Turn off the TV and put away your phone so you can focus on each other. If you live with other people, go to a room where you can shut the door for some privacy. Let your partner know that you want to talk about some aspects of your relationship that are bothering you. For example, you might say, "I love you and I want to discuss some ways that we can make our relationship better and more fulfilling for both of us." Psychotherapist Kelly Miller recommends taking a time out if things get heated or overwhelming. You can take a few minutes to calm down, then return to the conversation with a clearer head. 2. Use I statements to explain how you feel. When you use I statements, you take ownership of your own feelings instead of blaming your partner for doing the wrong thing. This can help your partner understand where you're coming from and make them less likely to get defensive. Focus on the issues that have been troubling you. Here are some examples of things you might say. "I feel belittled and disrespected when you insult me in front of other people. I feel frustrated when you refuse to talk to me about why you're upset. I feel disrespected when you try to tell me what to wear." 3. Listen to your partner's side of things. Give your partner a chance to explain why they're acting the way they are. They may have genuinely not realized that their actions were triggering those emotions in you. When you listen actively, it allows them to feel safe opening up. All of this can pave the way to better understanding between the two of you and hopefully to a healthier relationship down the road. Clinical psychologist Alison Brenneman notes that some people aren't purposefully manipulative in relationships. These patterns may have worked in their family system and now they are building a new family system with their partner and unconsciously trying to apply the old rules. Listening to your partner can help them work through those issues. Psychotherapist Kelly Miller agrees that people often talk more than they listen. They don't even realize it. So I think the first thing is that if they listened a little bit more, I think there'd be more effective communication. Miller also recommends reflective listening, where the partner says something and the other partner repeats back what that person said. 4. Set clear boundaries for how you will be treated. It can be tough to set boundaries with a romantic partner, especially if you've never really had any in the past. But boundaries are about respect. When you honor each other's boundaries, you're communicating that you respect each other. For example, you might say, "Please don't pressure me to have sex, it makes me uncomfortable." If your partner frequently raises their voice when the two of you disagree, you might say, "We can resolve conflicts in a calm manner. I'm not okay with you raising your voice at me." 5. Establish consequences if your boundaries are violated. A boundary without consequences isn't very valuable because nothing will happen if your partner violates it. Choose consequences that are proportionate and related to the boundary itself, and enforce your boundaries consistently every time your partner violates them. For example, if you set a no yelling during conflicts boundary, the consequence might be that when your partner raises their voice, you take a 30-minute break to calm down before you resume the discussion. If your partner is pressuring you for sexual activity, you might set a consequence that you will sleep in another room if they violate this boundary. For some boundaries, simply saying that you will call them out on it and the two of you will have a talk is all the consequence you need. Don't include something as a consequence, for example, that you'll leave them if you don't intend to follow through with it. 6. Suggest that the two of you go to couples counseling. Confronting all of these issues can be very hard for both of you. This is especially true if your partner wasn't aware that the things they were saying and doing were coming across as manipulative or controlling. A couples counselor can help the two of you establish better communication and heal your relationship. If you decide it's time to part ways, a couples counselor can help the two of you with that too. You'll be able to separate with closure and hopefully with respect for one another.
4 tips to get help. Tip 1. Reach out to friends and family members. Your close friends and family members are your ultimate support system. They've always got your back. It can be embarrassing to admit that you have a problem in your relationship, but don't worry, they won't judge. On the contrary, they'll likely do anything they can to help you. If your partner was trying to isolate you from your friends and family members, you might also feel awkward about getting back in touch with them. Simply explain the situation and apologize for your absence. Remember that they love you and only want what's best for you. Tip 2. Talk to a therapist on your own. You likely have some conflicting thoughts rolling around in your head, especially if you'd been thinking that your relationship was wonderful and are now seeing all these red flags you'd never noticed before. A therapist can help you untangle all those conflicting thoughts and get back on the road to true self-love and recovery. Look for a therapist who has experience treating clients similar to you who were in similar situations. They'll be the ones who will most likely be of the most help to you. Remember that therapists are professionals and they're not there to judge you. They simply want to help guide you on a journey to being your best self. Tip 3. Practice self-care to regain control of your life. Self-care can help you rebuild your confidence after your partner has tried to tear it down. The more love and compassion you give to yourself, the less you'll feel the need to rely on external sources, such as your partner, for validation. Here are some self-care practices you can try. Journaling, meditation, positive affirmations, breathing exercises. Tip 4. Get professional help if you don't feel safe. The best case scenario is that your partner sees the error of their ways, feels terrible for how they've hurt you, and sets about trying to be a better partner for you. But the best case scenario, unfortunately, isn't always the most common one. It's also possible that your partner's behavior could escalate or grow more violent. If that happens, you need a plan to escape. Talk to your friends and family members first and foremost. Then, reach out to domestic violence shelters in your area. If you have a plan in place, you don't have to worry about it if the time comes when you feel unsafe and have to leave immediately.
If you see yourself in any of these signs, it's important to remember that you're not alone. Talk to your partner in private about the way their behavior makes you feel. Set clear boundaries so your partner understands what you need from the relationship. And if they're not willing to change, then you need to be prepared to walk away.